can't believe the draft is here, man. Like, the Super Bowl was just the other day. Draft is upon us. It's gonna be what, Thursday night? We gotta stay up all night to catch our pick at 26. It's gonna be forever, but we're gonna pick the right guy. We're gonna pick a starter. I know that much.
Man, I hope so. If it's anything I got confidence in, is that we got a nice hit rate when it comes
Yeah,
to the players we've been picking. It's been nice.
especially in
I
round
mean,
one.
yeah, for sure. You know what I mean? You just leave out a Taco Charlton, and I would say maybe Morris Claiborne, and everything else is kind of, I have to give him an A for like the last decade.
Oh,
for
for
sure.
sure, for
Yes,
sure.
sir.
And luckily, like, we're not picking at the top of the draft where the potential busts are sitting. You know what I mean? There's no expectations where we're picking.
Yeah, when you think about this draft, it's not like I don't think it's the deepest draft. You
Mm-mm.
know what I mean? I think it's some good players at the top. But I think maybe once you get to about 13, 14, I would look at it like this. I think certain teams maybe have like 15 guys with like a first round grade, right?
Right.
And then after that is a crapshoot. Like that's the beauty of it. We don't know what's gonna happen. There may be some trade backs. You know what I mean? It's gonna be interesting. I think it's making up for a great night. We definitely, we got some news recently. We'll dive into, that a little bit more later. But I mean, I think it's up for a great night, man. I like it's certain players where I'm thinking like, where will it be, John? Land? Could he go top 10? Could he? You know what I mean? Will he fall a little bit? Does Jamari Gibbs come back and he makes the first round? Who the first receiver will be taken? Like, I
Mm.
miss a lot of players. And then like with the Texans and all the talk that's going on around them, man, I don't know. You know what I mean? I thought it was a smoke screen, and was it a quarterback, defensive player, man? So I really don't know. But I think, overall, I think we're making up for a great night, man. I'm excited.
No, absolutely. We got Bucky's latest mock draft pulled up, 4.0. We could just talk through some of these picks, see if we agree, see what we're thinking. So, pick one, he's got Carolina taking Bryce Young. That's like the consensus. We all kind
Yeah,
of are expecting that one.
I think we kind of set on that one at this point. You know what I mean? I don't think anybody is thinking CJ Stroud at this point. I think Bryce Young is the consensus. And honestly, they keeping this kind of close. But you know how it's like that night before the draft where it's like we kind of know? I think it's
Hmm.
kind of to that point right now where I think, Bryce Young is that guy, man. So,
Of
yeah, we
course.
locked down.
Number two, we got Houston taking Tyree Wilson, and I agree with this pick completely. I think he's the best edge rusher coming out. I think Houston should skip on quarterback for the time being. D'Amico Ryan's got that 5-year deal, so he does have time to build a team his way. Why rush and get a quarterback that's not the quarterback? But I also think don't discount the idea that if D'Amico likes Trey Lance, that there's a possibility he can make a move for him day 2 or 3 of this draft.
Hey, sure. Hey, that's a hot take, man. I mean, Davis Mills wasn't the worst quarterback, but then when you look at the Texas team, man, they competed in a lot of games, man.
They did.
Coaching could make all the difference. The only thing here, I wonder what's the smoke screen and what's not. Like you hear the CJ Stroud news, is he dropping? Is he not? But at the end of the day, I wouldn't be if the Texans just picked the best defense player in this draft. Do I think it's Tyree Wilson? I might have to disagree on that side. I think, if I'm looking at the best defensive player, I think you're looking at a Will Anderson or, man, Jalen Carter situation. But I know this is your guy. I just heard you raving about the guy. And if he is, what he turns out to be, I don't think you can go wrong at his pick, building your team out. The only thing is if you don't get a quarterback, and CJ Stroud do end up being that guy, it might be a situation where, it may be some trouble for him, later years. But as of
For
right
sure.
now, building the team out, I think is a smart thing to do if you don't believe in that guy that's at 2. So Tyree Wilson
No,
at 2.
and I think, too, the difference here with Tyree Wilson, you're not getting Myles Garrett here, I don't think. You're not getting a TJ Watt type player here. I think it's just a guy that you'll be able to sign to a second contract who contributes. So it's a safe pick, in my opinion. Whereas I think Jalen Carter is the better player at 2. I think he's the best player in the draft, but there is questions surrounding him. So given that, I think the safe play is Tyree Wilson.
I don't know.
Number
This is gonna be interesting, man. The two pick is one of the most is the spot right now that you really don't know what's gonna happen. Like
right.
I think once you see this pick right here go in, I think you'll see a domino effect all across the board. You know what I mean? But to be honest, is it a quarterback or not? I don't know. I'm not set in stone on that. But Texans are saying everything but quarterback right now.
Right.
So it's kind of weird right now. But moving on to 3, man, what you think about this one?
Arizona snags Will Anderson. I think that this makes sense from Arizona's standpoint. So I think obviously Jalen Carter, like you get a 3-tech if you can get a 3-tech. And I think that's the play. But I think his off the field is like raising a lot of question marks. And Will Anderson, they see as a safe pick. And you just hope he's a guy that you can bring in there and pick up his second contract.
Yeah, I mean, and let's be honest, this just may be the best guy in this draft at 3 waiting for you. You know what I mean? If the 2 quarterbacks come off, you already got a Kyler Murray situation, and you kind of get your pick of the litter right here, man. Will Anderson, we know the type of player he was at Alabama. I don't think you can go wrong with his pick. I completely agree. If it's not a trade back situation, then why not? You know what I mean? I think it'll be a situation where it's Will Anderson and Jalen Carter, man. They need some help on the defensive side. They need help everywhere, to be honest. But why not get one of the better players in the draft? So, you know what I mean? I'm cool with this pick, Will Anderson at 3, man. I like it.
Just to go back to pick 2 real quick, I do think, and I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility for Houston to take an offensive lineman. You don't want to do that at 2, but if you're building your team for the future, for whatever quarterback you do wind up with in the future, you start putting those anchors around him. You know that's a smart play. It's just you don't want to do that at pick 2.
Right.
Moving on to pick 4, we have the Colts snagging up C.J. Stroud. Talk to me about that one.
You know, it's like every year we have that one player that drops to a team that we don't do what I would say didn't expect. You know what I mean? C.J. Stroud, like I said, he's all over the board. You hear that he could possibly drop out of the top 7. But I truthfully, I think it's just a smoke screen. I think he's the second quarterback in this draft for sure. And maybe number 1 on a lot of teams' board. You hear about the tests and different things like that. But I think for the Colts, if you was to get this to fall into your lap, I think this is a home run. You know what I mean? I think they're feeling great. They still have a good team over there. Don't get me wrong. They had a down year, but they still got the weapons. And for real, all they're missing is a quarterback, man. So if they was to get C.J. Stroud here and it plays out this way, I think they all over there. You'll see them in the green room. And not a green room, but, they'll be over there just patting it up. And, man, I think they'll be celebrating. Pop some champagne in there, man.
For sure. I think here for the Colts, with C.J. Stroud, I don't think he's going for. I think that for the Colts, I mean, do you have a quarterback? No. Have you missed a lot? Yes. But I don't think this is the quarterback that can change your franchise that like the Colts are waiting for. It's not Luck or Peyton Manning walking through the door, which is rare.
Why not, though? Why not? And you think about the Colts, and honestly, you could say the same thing for a couple teams when I think about the Texans, right? Mm-hmm. I think this is a good roster that had a down year. This could be a team that possibly pop back up and they win 9 or 10 games next year. And they don't have the opportunity to get back in there and get one of the better quarterbacks next year. So, I mean, if you got a chance to get a franchise guy, don't overthink this. Just keep it simple. And, you know what I mean? As a franchise quarterback, getting this position, I just think this changes everything for your franchise. I don't think they're in a position of, let's say, one of these teams. They're at the top half of the draft. I just think they had a bad year, but I think they could easily flip the switch, if that makes sense.
No, it does. But I see with Stroud, I feel like his best game was his last game in college, and that's what the most people saw. That's not what it looked like every week. Like C.J. Stroud does have his ups and downs, like all players do, but I do think that, with Stroud, it's like, was that him playing in the biggest moment, or was that him taking a step? Like, can you get that out of him every week in the NFL or on occasion?
Okay, so
that's kind of where I'm at.
So who your number 2 quarterback in this draft?
Number 2? So it's kind of complicated. Number 2, I think Hendon Hooker is the second best quarterback in this draft. Accuracy-wise, I do. Will he go this high? Absolutely not.
No way.
Athletically, number 2 is Anthony Richardson, but I don't even know if he'll end up playing quarterback in the league. I think he might just end up as a weapon. And I don't mean that to be disrespectful, but he's got a lot of room to grow at the quarterback position.
That's true. But we'll get there when the time presents. But, in general, I think if you're looking at these teams, the quarterback needed, you're going to take a quarterback here. So
right.
I can see this plausible happening if he falls there. But I wouldn't be surprised if there was a pass up on him too. I just don't know how far C.J. Stroud would drop. And at this position, if they wasn't going to take him, then I would say why not trade back and get some more picks, which is also possible, man. But somebody's going to be trading up. If he's dropping a 4, somebody coming to get him.
To be honest, if I'm the Colts here, man, I'm drafting an offensive lineman at 4. You have Quentin Nelson. He's kind of in the middle of his career. You try to get that offensive line back to what it once was and then go from there, in my opinion. Because if not, you're going to have a similar situation where Andrew Luck was killed with no offensive line. and then you started getting him one, but by then it was too late. So I think they've learned, hopefully, and that in this situation, they're going to try to rebuild that offensive line.
For sure.
Over
for
at
sure.
pick 5, Seattle, Christian Gonzalez out of Oregon. I don't see this happening.
Nah, I don't see it happening. I mean, I think he is the best cornerback in this draft, but you know, I'm looking at it like there's a lot of players on the board. I think Seattle here, you know what I mean? I think all they're missing is a big boy. I was thinking, you know, Seattle, I don't think Jalen Carter makes it past Seattle. I don't think you can go wrong with Christian Gonzalez. I think he's going to be a great player, you know what I mean? But, you know what I mean, in general, you know what I mean, I think the impact player will be Jalen Carter, man.
I think there's absolutely no way in hell that Pete Carroll doesn't pound the table for a 3-tech. When was the last time Pete Carroll had a good 3-tech? You know what I mean? And he's a defensive guy. I think
probably
Pete Carroll.
Jerron Reed, I think he was in the middle.
Him, Michael Bennett, maybe.
They had Frank Clark was on. Was Frank Clark outside? They was moving him around on the defensive line. I mean, he had some big boys in front, but it's something that they missing. But I think Seattle in the prime position, man. They kind of at one of the spots where it's like I don't think they can go wrong. At 5,
I agree.
They may just get somebody that just falls right into their lap, and I think they will.
And don't get me wrong, if you can get Christian Gonzalez to go along with your second-year star and Tariq Woolen, you're cooking with fire in the secondary.
Yeah.
But getting, I think, Jalen Carter here only improves Tariq Woolen.
So we got at 6.
So 6, we got Detroit taking Jalen Carter. I mean, obviously, if that's there, that's what you do. And I think, to be honest, if he's not there, they're taking Christian Gonzalez right here.
And it's crazy to say that because I'm in reverse where I say I thought Jalen Carter would be the perfect spot for Seattle. I don't think they would pass up on him, but I say there's no way he makes it past Detroit. But if you get Jalen Carter in that Detroit defensive line, boy, you know what I mean? You got Houston that showed out last year. You got Hutchinson. You got some hungry boys in that defensive line, and they'll be deep through the trenches on both sides, man. I'm loving what Detroit is at, you know what I mean, through all of this. But if they get Jalen Carter, I think they cook it with something over there. Already, I think they got a set roster. They're ready to compete. But if they get this right here, I think this is what they're hoping for, to be truthful. If they can get this, I think they're set.
I think in this situation, after pick 4, if Jalen Carter's on the board, I think Dan Campbell and Pete Carroll are licking their lips. Just like hoping, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I think Detroit does need a corner, so that's why I do like Christian Gonzalez to them if Carter's off the board. Over to pick 7, Devin Witherspoon to the Raiders. I think that's a smart play. They need secondary help as well.
Yeah.
And
bad. They need secondary. They need, listen, if there's anything I like coming out from this is that, you know, you hear in recent days that the Las Vegas Raiders, they're behind Jimmy G. And we thought they might take a quarterback, but there's a lot of holes in that roster. You know what I mean? If you got a serviceable guy, we know the defense is a weak spot, man. I don't think you can go wrong with Devin Witherspoon. I'm anxious to see how it plays out, but I just think BPA, don't go quarterback here. You know what I mean? He's going to be sitting for a year anyway. Yeah.
If I'm being honest, BPA in this situation for the Raiders, I think would be one of the offensive linemen. You can't go wrong with that. Witherspoon, will he help your team? Of course. But, I mean, I don't know. I just feel like the offensive line is like a much safer play, and we've yet to see one of those guys.
Safer, but we're also talking about one of the worst defenses in the league. They need
Agreed.
Help. They need help.
Agreed. They need help everywhere. So it's like really whatever their BPA is at pick 7, you do it.
For sure.
Pick 8, we got Atlanta taking my boy Lucas Van Ness. Will he go that high? I don't think so.
I don't know. He's a weird prospect to me. I'm not as high on Lucas Van Ness as most. But you know what I mean? It's like I can see him going as high as 8, but I can also see him dropping as far as like down to 16, 17 where the Green Bay Packers are. He's all over the place. But for Atlanta, I don't see why you wouldn't take Peter Skoronski right here and start building up the offensive line or something like that. Yeah. But you know, I wouldn't be surprised if he goes in the top 10. You know what I mean? I just think it's better players on the board. I don't even think he's the best pass rusher. I prefer a Nolan Smith over him, if I'm gonna be honest. But you know, it's all over the place at this point. But maybe you never know.
I just feel like, I mean, you can't go wrong putting a guy in the defensive line, but with Atlanta, I feel like it's a similar situation to the Colts. You don't have a quarterback, why not go ahead and get an anchor on the offensive? Like, I think Skronzi makes way more sense to Atlanta, like you said.
But listen, if he falls to 9, boy, Justin Fields over there like, boy,
What?
here we go. Here we go, man. That boy was running for his life all last year, man. And I think this make the most sense of, like, if Skoronski is not there, I think, you know what I mean, either way, I think they're taking the offensive line, man.
I agree.
I mean? Whereas, Paris Johnson, I don't know if Donald Wright will go this high, but it's a lot of tackles. Just build through the trenches, man. You got him some weapons. Get him some help in the trenches, man. So
especially,
if this is the guy, I like it.
They fleeced Carolina. Take full advantage of the opportunity. Go get a guy to protect Fields so he can sling it to DJ Moore. Like, this is a knockout pick at 9.
Yeah.
Pick 10, we have Philly snagging up Miles Murphy. I don't see them doing that, though. I don't.
You know, Philly they're in a spot where it's like, I don't know what Philly is going to do. I think they're in a position, they're going to let the tables play itself out. To be honest, I could see him going Jackson Smith and the Jigma here. I wouldn't be surprised if it's a Miles Murphy or Nolan Smith. Or, you know what I mean, if we're talking cornerback and Devin Witherspoon or Christian Gonzalez and one of these guys drop, I could see him taking either, you know what I mean. But I think Miles Murphy's, I don't really see it as far as like being one of the better pass rushers in this draft at top 10. As a Dallas fan, I speak on it from that perspective. I'm glad you didn't get a Bijan Robinson or, you know what I mean, some of the players. Right. I'm thinking, like, we talked about Jackson Smith and Jigma. I'm like, would he go to Philly? You like, I don't really want to see that. Miles Murphy, I'm like, you know what I mean? Yeah, all right, whatever. You know what I mean? We got guys that can combat that.
But we got the DBs to cover them, boys.
Facts. So, hey, if it's Miles Murphy, cool, man. I'm cool with it. I ain't knocking the player. He just very well may become a good player in the future, but as of right now, you know, that's how I'm feeling.
Yeah, no, that pick's odd to me. Is it possible? Yes. Do I see it? No. Pick 11, we've got Paris Johnson. And that's a safe play for Tennessee. I mean, Tennessee's kind of a mess. The power of your team, your whole team is your running back. You get you a nice big body at tackle to improve there. You do have Tannehill for one more year. He's too expensive to move off of. So you function with Tannehill as best as possible and worry about quarterback in the future.
I'm going to be honest here. I do think offensive line is a need, but I think they need some weapons, man.
That's
if
fair.
I'm being truthful, I don't think they come to this spot right here and don't take a look at some of these receivers in the draft, whoever may be the top cream of the crop, whoever they may think it is. But I thought, you know what I mean, Jackson Smith and the Jigma, I was looking at this as a prime spot for him. But there's a go through the offensive line. Paris Johnson, he's a good prospect, big mammoth of a guy. He got the athleticism, got all the tools, man. So high ceiling for sure.
I think so. Pick 12, and I like this a lot. So Houston takes BPA at pick 2, waits and sits around until pick 12, and Will Levis falls to them. That makes sense to me.
I hate it. I don't like Will Levis, though. I ain't going to knock him too much, but if you're going to not, I don't see letting CJ Stroud go to get Will Levis. I'm not that high on him. If you're going to be counteractive, what they're going to do, if they're going to build the team, then why not continue to build the team? Why not just go through the trenches, get some more weapons, get another defensive player? You know what I mean? Whatever. Imagine just leaving out of this thing with, let's say, who's the first defensive end off the board? Your boy, sorry.
No, that was, pick 2 was Tyree Wilson.
Tyree Wilson. Imagine just getting Tyree Wilson and then another impact defensive player like right here. So, I mean, I wouldn't be mad at it, but I don't see them passing on CJ Stroud just to, you know what I mean, still get a quarterback later. If you're going to bypass everything, why not go get your guy?
I do think if Stroud is their guy, I think it is such a smart play not taking the quarterback at 2 and just – they probably have them ranked. Like maybe they have Stroud, Levis, Richardson.
I'm going to be honest, because if Levis was your guy, why not take him at 2? That's kind of what I'm getting at. It's like you don't skip out on that prospect to say, oh, I hope he falls to me at 12. If Levis was your guy, you know how it goes at quarterback. If you like Levis over Stroud, you won't get Levis at 2 and not wish that he would fall to you. Because if you don't feel like quarterback is that big of a need, I don't foresee you doubling back. Maybe I'm wrong.
No,
maybe CJ Stroud drops. I don't know.
I think more like, do you love Will Levis? Yes, but do you love him at 2? No. And then that's like, maybe they just have Tyree Wilson higher on their board in general. Like his grade is higher to them. So then you come here, and if Levis is BPA on your board still, like what if Levis is number, or say Stroud is number 2 on your board, and you have Tyree number 1 on your board? You take Tyree first, so you don't go against drafting for needs, and then you cross your fingers and hope, man.
Yeah, I mean, at this position, I think Will Levis is, I would say, maybe one of the favorite prospects to go with too. And if you're, you know, what I mean, you're reading the tea leaves and you kind of just sifting through the smoke and you think that's what's going on, then getting that prospect at 12, I think they'd be flattered. You know what I mean? You still got a guy to position a need. And, you know, you got your best player that whoever they liked there too, I think they had their cream of the crop. Obviously, I think they would have wanted Bryce Young, but not being Bryce Young at there, you know, they get to pick whoever they want at that point.
Oh, yeah. If Houston had pick 1, they're taking Bryce Young all
For
day.
Sure.
Green Bay at pick 13 takes the Utah tight end Dalton Kincaid. I think Green Bay needs a lot more than that.
That's a thumbs down, man.
Yeah.
But, you know, if tight end goes this far up the board, I'm happy. I'm happy. Like, look, all these guys like that, push him up. You know what I mean? Let them all come off early. But I'm not even sure he's the best tight end in the draft. I prefer Maya over him. But where's the gap? Like, is he really that higher than all the tight ends?
Right.
Green Bay, I just think this is dumb. You move up 2 spots. You trade Aaron Rodgers to move up 2 spots just to get a tight end. It's terrible. I know they hate Nick as a Green Bay community right now.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense to me. And, you know, the only thing I can think in my head with this one is, like, you got Jordan Love. He needs a favorite weapon. Could it be Dalton Kincaid? Maybe. But I don't like this pick at 13. I don't like first-round tight ends. Whoa. The New England Patriots at pick 14 take Bijan Robinson. I love it.
This is the ones we don't see coming, man. You know what I mean? Hell of a player. If you get him at 14, like, I always wonder, like, if you take Bijan in the top 10, like, are you happy with that? Mm-hmm. If you get him at 14, how do you value him? If you catch him at 26, it's a steal. But I think at the end of the day, you got a generational talent. He transcends your offense. I think you're happy. Especially over there in New England, they need help. You know what I mean? On that offense, They need to score some points. And why not get a guy like this, man? So if they get him, hey, cool, man.
And you got to remember, too, you know, Mac Jones had a phenomenal rookie year. He had a horrible second year, but he also had, Patricia calling plays. You get Bijan Robinson in there to help your third-year quarterback, and you kind of can see more of what you have out of Mac Jones with the dominant run game.
Yeah.
But I think, too, to be honest, with Bijan, real quick, he's not just a running back. He's a weapon. He's an Eckler-type player. He's not just like a Derrick Henry or whatever. Like, he's going to be a weapon. You can use him in the slot. You can use him out wide. You can bring him into pass block. He can do it all. So this play right here makes sense to me.
I would say it's the first time I've seen Bijan Robinson there. Mm-hmm. But just kind of seeing it, you know what I mean? If it happened, I wouldn't have seen it coming, but I'm like, okay, I like it. I like it for New England, if that was to be the case for real.
I think there's no way Belichick lets that pass by.
Hey, we're going to see, man.
15, we have Broderick Jones to the New York Jets. You get Aaron Rodgers, a nice tackle. You got Mekhi Becton. They have they have a guard. His name starts with an A. It's slipping my mind, that they drafted a year or two ago. So they've got a young offensive line cooking. I think this is a smart play.
Yeah, I mean, why not? I think Broderick Jones, for most, he's number 2. Maybe 1 on some teams' board as far as the tackles go. You get us some help. The defense is already great. It's great defense over there. They got some weapons. I think it makes sense. Why not go ahead and get you another book in and let Aaron Rodgers cook up, man.
And you know me, if you take an offensive lineman in the first round, I'm here for it. Pick 16, Joey Porter Jr. Your boy goes to Washington, division foe.
Honestly, this makes sense.
It does.
Like if I was running a mock draft myself, let's be honest, and I have, like, for some reason I keep coming away with this name right here. I just think, if you think about Washington, weapons wise, they got weapons. I would say they need a quarterback personally, but they seem to be set on their guys. They got a Brian Robinson, maybe a Bijan Robinson there would make you consider it. The defensive line is nice, but the one position they're lacking at is definitely DB. And I think you tackle a spot where you balance need and also getting a player that just maybe BPA here at the same time. I think is a home run. I think he's a good player, and they need it. They need it in the back end for sure.
what I was actually just thinking? Imagine if the Jets take Joey Porter instead to go along with Sauce.
I mean, hey, the
That's
Jets in a nice
scary.
spot, man. I like to see
The Jets can
him
do what they
make that
want.
defense a strength. I mean, it's already a strength, but
Pick
it's gonna be nice.
17, Pittsburgh Steelers take offensive tackle Darnell Wright. That's a safe play. I like that a lot.
Position of need as well. You know what I mean?
Exactly. They're an older team. Kenny Pickett, is he the future? We got to get him some protection and find out. We got weapons.
And then you think about it, Najee Harris could not find running lanes last year.
Right.
You know what I mean? And you get a power player here. I think he helps out in a lot of ways, especially at a spot that they need. Just kind of rings a bell the same way we talked about Washington just now, where I think here offensive line make the most sense for the Steelers. And honestly, I was hoping Darnell Wright would fall, man. I like Darnell Wright as a prospect. I think here, man, you got a plug-and-play player. You know what I mean? At a premium position, too.
And I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility that in 3 years we're saying Darnell Wright's the best tackle out of this draft class either.
I'm with you. I'm with you on that. And they got some flex to him, man. Tackle, guard, where you want him at.
Exactly. Pick 18. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Were you still there?
Nah, we can move on. Yep.
Pick 18, we have Deontay Banks, corner out of Maryland. That's the guy. You like him, too. Headed over to Detroit.
I'm up and down on Deontay Banks, man. I don't know. I think he's a good player. I don't know. He moved up the draft boards due to the combine and everything like that, man. He came on late. He's projected as a second-round pick. He moves up. But I would say the cornerback draft is deep. You know what I mean? I wouldn't be surprised if it's certain guys like Emmanuel Forbes, that could move up and possibly even be better than Banks here. So I don't know if it's the best position. You know what I mean? I ain't going to say best position, but BPA for them. But we don't know. Like, they just traded their boy Okuda. It makes sense if you look at it that way. They may need a cornerback. They might look at it this way. Maybe that's how Bucky Brooks is looking at it. But I'm not sure. You know what I mean? If you're looking at it right now, have you seen a receiver come off the board right now? Negative, right? I don't know if Detroit would pass up on another weapon. They got weapons, though. But why not add a Jackson Smith and a Jigmore, one of these guys in there with, Amar St. Brown and Jameson Williams, and you might just got one of the scariest young offenses in the league, man. So
that's fair, too. I actually won't be surprised if Detroit takes a tight end at 18. A physical tight end that can help in the run game. That's like a Dan Campbell type play right there. I think doing this at 18 is them drafting for need. I think corner's their biggest need, so I think this is kind of going against the grain and going and getting need.
I agree. I'm not sure about it. Like Detroit in prime position, man. You got 2 first-round picks. I think depends on what happens with that first pick who falls. 18 is really a crapshoot at this spot. We don't know what's
exactly.
Going on. Yeah.
Pick 19, Tampa Bay takes Osiris Torrance. What else are they going to do at this point?
And I didn't think Bijan Robinson would fall past here, but I like Torrance. I think Torrance is a great player for sure.
I think as well Torrance is the top 3 lineman in this draft. I think honestly it would be guard. So this is obviously the first true guard to come off the board, so I think that's a smart play. And they're in kind of a mess in Tampa Bay, so you're just trying to build pieces that will be playing for 10 years.
For sure.
I think that makes sense.
They just need help everywhere.
Exactly.
You lose to Brady, I think this is a team that I don't know if they go to the bottom of the division. Depends on if Carolina bounce back, but they could be somewhere in there. They ain't making the playoffs, though.
We get Nolan Smith at pick 20 to Seattle. What did they do before?
It's an awesome pick right here. They get Nolan Smith at 20. And my mind said, why not, get a defensive end right there or get Jalen Carter?
Right.
But pause. Why not get Jalen Carter and Nolan Smith? But I don't know. Maybe
I'm saying that I don't think there's a.
No, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I don't think there's a chance Pete Carroll passes up on Jalen Carter. I think it's not even a possibility.
But hey, this is a home run, man.
Of course.
Let on the Smith.
Smart play. Pick 21, Notre Dame tight end Michael Mayer headed to Los Angeles. Get another weapon over there for Justin Herbert to go with Mike Williams, Keenan Allen. You got Gerald Everett too. I don't like it.
I don't
like this.
I like it. Get these tight ends off the board early. But it's crazy because it's like, is tight end a position in need of the Chargers? I could very well see that happen. Myers a good player. Don't get me wrong. I don't like taking tight ends in the first round. But I think he is a player. but I don't like him. Well, we'll pick, but just keep pushing these players down the board. My 21, cool with me.
Pick 22. Baltimore takes Anthony Richardson. I do not see this happening at all.
Yeah.
Trying to replace Lamar if for some reason he doesn't return. Maybe just having a plan for if he does end up leaving, playing on the tag and leaving. But I don't see how I don't think Anthony Richardson can help you this season or next season. I think he's like 3 years away from making an impact on a team.
I don't know, man. Listen. We've heard this time and time before, man. You know what I mean? It's a lot of players that come out and they call them, hey, look, projects.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I don't think Jalen Hurts is viewed as a surefire starter right away. I don't think Lamar Jackson himself was. But you look at it like this, right? Yes, could he be a project, but could he come in and be a good player on the right team and the right system? We've seen what this system has already done for Lamar. And if the writing is on the wall and they don't kind of find some type of common ground, why not? Like, I wouldn't be mad at this pick. I mean, a year, do you really need him to throw as much as you would like, or could you kind of put him in a similar situation as a young quarterback, rebuild that team up, put some weapons around him, and he might just be okay, man. So I'm not mad at it. You know what I mean? Do I like it? I don't know.
I'm not mad at it. I'm going to be honest. I'm going to be more surprised if we hear Anthony Richardson's name day one than if I don't. And it's not a knock on the kid. I just think I think he probably should have stayed in college another year, developed a little more before coming out. I think that would have been the smarter play.
Yeah. I would say one thing though, if I would like to see him fall, right? Or just be drafted into a situation at all, I would prefer it be a situation like this. You know, just a staff that is not going to rush him. They got a good system in place, know how to use a guy of his talents, obviously. So, I mean, if he was to fall here, I think it'll be a good thing for his career in general. Maybe he doesn't need to start in 2 years. You know what I mean? Maybe they keep Lamar Jackson an extra year. But this is not a bad guy to have in a wing if this were to happen.
I agree. No, that's fair. I don't think this helps you in the near future.
No.
Moving to pick 23, Minnesota takes your boy Jackson Smith and Jigba to go. Oh boy, and this makes sense. They just let go of Thielen. He was too expensive. You've got a sort of emergence coming out of what's his name, KJ Osborne, and you're going to pay Justin Jefferson all the money here soon. So you get Jackson Smith and Jigba in here as a number 2, possibly a number 3, on a rookie deal. You've got him locked in for 5 years, and then by then, is Jefferson still good? Can you move off of him? You know, like, this is a perfect position for success.
This would be crazy. Home run, like, when I thought about this position in general, man, I kind of always felt like this was a spot for Zay Flowers. I feel like Zay Flowers is number 2 guy on a lot of people's boards, but I mean, if you get the number 1 guy here, I do think this is a surefire pick. I think Minnesota's taking a receiver for sure, and I think whoever's there for him, if it makes sense, I think they're taking a guy. So if he was to fall this far, I don't foresee him passing him.
I think, honestly, so far, this is the best pick of the draft at the spot.
For sure. Value-wise?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, for sure. 100%.
DB Brian Branch is headed to Jacksonville at pick 24. Isn't he listed more as a safety than a corner?
He's a safety. Best safety in the draft, for sure. I mean, good player.
But can you get a safety in the 2nd or 3rd round?
Yeah,
sure.
I
mean, you don't really have to reach for a safety here. I don't think, at least.
Nah, I mean, I think about Jacksonville. I mean, they set on the offensive line. I mean, they got a nice offense. I think defensive-wise, maybe they do need some help on the back end. I don't know. The safety is a weird spot for me to gauge in general, I'm going to be honest.
It is. Pick 25, the Giants take Zay Flowers. They get their franchise quarterback, another weapon. And he probably immediately becomes their best weapon, to be honest. And outside of Saquon, obviously. I think you kind of have to do something like this for Danny Dimes.
I love Zay Flowers, man. You know how I felt about Zay Flowers. The only thing is like this, and I'm going to be honest. You would be taking a wide receiver in the 1st round. What is this, the last 3 years? You had Kadarius Toney, or why not Robinson? And then there's Zay Flowers. This is 3 similar guys, similar builds, similar type players, 3 years in a row.
Right.
I would assume that, Toney didn't work out. Why not Robinson? I didn't see much of him last year. Not saying you go away from a Zay Flowers. I love Zay Flowers, but I'll be hard pressed to believe that they'll go for a similar type player 3 years in a row. Just because. Gotta do something different.
No, that's definitely fair. All right. Have you seen what they mocked Dallas yet at pick 26?
I haven't seen anything. It was all fresh.
Let's see what we got. I haven't either. That's my guy, bro. That is my guy. Pick 26, Steve Avila. Sign me up all day for this pick, bro. You know that's my guy.
I'm not mad at it. I'm gonna be honest. I probably wouldn't be the most excited for it.
I'm excited.
I like Steve Avila. I'm gonna be honest. I like him as a prospect. If we was to get him in there, I'd be like, okay. But could we get a similar guy in the second round? I don't know. It depends on how to run this regard. But if I'm looking at this, and I can't wait to see some of the picks that fall below him, but I do think there's some better players on the board as of right now.
See, for me, like I was not pumped at all when it came to Tyler Smith. Like I was like, bro, I don't want no Tyler Smith.
Yeah.
But I was proved wrong. But I've liked Steve Avila since the start, and I think this is like a knockout pick. You get him in there, you put him at left guard, you give Tyron Smith the ability to play swing tackle. We don't even have to know who Walesko or Josh Ball are anymore. Like, oh, they moved him to guard. I don't care.
For sure.
So
I don't know who they is now. Who?
Right.
Yeah. But I mean, when I think of Steve Avila, I mean, he's a good player. I probably would prefer Quentin Johnson. You know, it's my guy. I think there's a lot of other guys on the board right now. I'm not mad at it though. It'd be one of those picks like if we made it, I'm like, like could we got more? Could we got a Will McDonald? Certain players I like at a position, you know what I mean, as well. Maybe I'm thinking about later rounds. But if everything settles and I come back to the drawing board and I say we got a Steve Avila, it's one of those things where it's like maybe we didn't get who we wanted or who I wanted. You know what I mean? You know, the Dallas community, it's gonna be fine whatever we do. Somebody is not gonna like it whatever way, but you know, it's a position of need, and I think he plugs in. I think he fits well from day one.
I agree. Moving to pick 27, Buffalo scoops up Jordan Addison. So, real quick, Quentin Johnston is still on the board. That's the only true X receiver in the draft. Now, they have an X over in Buffalo. So, you get Jordan Addison, former Pitt wide receiver. That was Kenny Pickett's guy. Bring him over to Buffalo. How's he going to like that cold weather? He's coming from Cali. But I like this pick.
Yeah, I mean, Buffalo, they could do a lot of things. I mean, they already got an explosive offense, right? You know what I mean? You got a Josh Allen back there. I think they got to show up the running game. But they did get a Damian Harris over there. So, I wouldn't be mad at the pick. I know you like Addison a lot. Maybe number 1, number 2 guy on the board. So, I mean, every receiver, obviously. But,
yeah.
I mean, I think it's a good player. And I think he'll fit in from day one. And if he's there, but I just truly don't know. Like, do you think Buffalo was targeting a weapon day one? Like a weapon?
Maybe. I think they lost Isaiah McKenzie in free agency. Cole Beasley, they had to bring out of retirement last year. So that's like a desperate play.
Right.
And Gabriel Davis, he's so inconsistent. If you can get a guy in there to provide some sort of consistency as a number 2, I think the AFC East is in trouble.
It already is. That's a deep-ass division, man. I'm liking it. I don't know what's going to happen. Miami, A-Rod, it's going to be tough this year.
Pick 28, we got Cincinnati scooping up Oklahoma tackle Anton Harrison.
Great value.
Great value. Protect your guy. Yeah, you can't go wrong there.
Yeah, you don't know what's going on with Lyle Collins. I just think at tackle, like is this a position of need with high value? I think they loving this over in Cincinnati. This was happening. It's a need, and I think it's a good player for sure.
It's a need, and I think the value is right at pick 28. Yeah. Pick 29, New Orleans snuck back into the first round. They take Pittsburgh defensive tackle Kalijah Chancey. Am I saying that right?
Kalijah Clancy.
Clancy. Okay. Clancy.
What's the L in there? It's a Clancy. Kalijah Clancy.
It's no L.
Oh, shit. I think I've been saying this wrong for the past 2 months.
I knew I was saying it wrong.
You know, I'll butcher some words up, though. Don't mind me.
No, I think this is a good play. You get you a DT. You get him in there. You know, you got like Cam Jordan on the tail end of his career. I'm sure he could use the help inside. You got Derek Carr. No, I like this pick right here for New Orleans.
And I think it makes sense for Clancy. Well, here we go. Clancy as well, man. I just think, Combine Warrior, I think he moved himself up a lot of boards. Maybe he was a little overrated, but I think if you're taking him here, we got to speak of the word value again. And I think for him, being at 29, I think, it's great. It's great value. And if you put him along that defensive line, there's already a stout front. Great defense. He fits right there.
And he might even give you the possibility to get more out of a Marcus Davenport, who's going to be coming up for an extension soon. You can actually get a better grade on your guy.
Facts.
Pick 30, we've got Philly back at it. They get Keon Wright out of Georgia Tech, defensive lineman. I don't know much about Keon Wright.
Listen, I'm loving this. They coming away with Luke Van Ness and Keon White out of all the players. Listen, be honest,
no, they ain't
Philly got the potential to be scary, right? Let's just be honest. And I look at it. If I'm coming away with this, out of all the potential scenarios that I envision in my head, like could it be a Bijan or a Smith? I'm like, all right, cool. You know what I mean? Day one, everybody wants to. You always focus on what your team gonna do, and you focus on what your division gonna do. And I think from here, they cool. You know what I mean? I'm looking at it the same way. Keon White, cool. Yeah.
Final pick in round 1 is going to go to the Chiefs. Will McDonald, Iowa State edge. Get out. That's a smash play.
That's a steal, man. This guy has high upside, man. Love Will McDonald.
You got Frank Clark, Chris Jones, Will McDonald, Karlaftis. Smash play.
Nah, didn't the Chiefs just let somebody go? Was it Frank Clark? Frank Clark just got released, right?
Oh, he did, didn't he?
Yeah. So,
okay.
I mean, if you look at it that way, possible replacement.
And not only that, you've got a guy who's going to be in there on those pass rush packages. I mean, you're going to be up a lot. You get some young speed up there. You got Karlaftis. Bro, I'm pretty sure they picked Karlaftis at 31 last year as well.
They had 2 first-round picks last year?
Mm-hmm. Because of the Tyreek trade. True.
Well, I mean, yeah. I think I'm gonna be honest. I think Kansas City is building right over there. It seems like where everybody is kind of zigging, they zagging right now, and I think they got their quarterback and they kind of building their team out right over there. So I mean, I like it. And then Will McDonald, I love him, man. I feel like this is still at 31. I could see him going as high as like 21, 22, man. He's that caliber of a player. Could be one of your better pass rushers in the draft, and to get him right here, it's another team I think the community over there in Kansas City would be loving it for sure.
If I could just go back up to the top a bit. So I think as far as like something I would do differently, the only receiver that went the first receiver off the board was Jackson Smith. We didn't see Quentin Johnston go in the first round, but I do think he will go in the first round. I just don't know where.
But
go ahead.
I wouldn't be surprised.
No, anything's possible.
I'm going to be honest. I wouldn't be surprised if he was to drop to the second round, but I don't think he will last too long in day 2. I think he'll be within your first 5 to 7 picks for sure.
Similar to T. Higgins, who was also an X, was projected to go in the first round, fell to day 2, and Cincinnati doesn't regret that whatsoever.
Right.
So, yeah, anything's possible there. That wraps up the mock draft part of things. Let's talk about Aaron Rodgers.
Let's do it.
So, going through this, I think the Jets fleeced the Packers on this one. I do not understand. So, to break it down, and I'm sure you guys are all aware of the picks at play here. Green Bay pick swaps with the Jets, 13 and 15. Get a 2023 second-round pick. But if the Jets are good, that's basically a third-round pick. A 6th-rounder and a conditional 2 that can become a 1 if he plays through 2024. So that's actually he's got to play 2 seasons for them in order for that to develop, if I'm reading that correctly.
Yeah, 2.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, 23, 24 season. Yep.
Green Bay, how does Green Bay not get a single starter in this deal? Denzel Mims, an offensive lineman, something like you're going to go guess. You're going to go play the guessing game in the draft. Yeah, it just doesn't make sense to me.
It's weird, man. But it's crazy just gauging, the Green Bay Packers and how their fans been feeling. I think a lot of them was just ready to move off of Aaron Rodgers at this point. I think they feel good about the conversation. The Jets fans, they definitely loving the conversation.
Mm-hmm.
like you say, maybe I look at it from an aspect that maybe they just had their hands tied behind their back. You don't know what Aaron Rodgers is going to do, over the next 2 years. I feel like it should have been more, but you giving up a top 10 quarterback. Essentially, you move up 2 spots in this year's draft, and maybe you get a first round pick. But even if you get that first round pick, how great would it just be next year? And does that first round pick essentially just stay at 2 anyway? It might just be at the later part of the first round. So,
Right.
If I'm looking at it, if we had to say somebody won this trade, I would say the Jets. What you thinking?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
You get to keep every player on your roster and get one back. Like, they don't have to worry about missing a pick. You guys can have these picks. We got Rodgers. Good luck. Like, good luck in the 6th round. Good luck in the 2nd round. Although the Jets have drafted well in recent memory, outside of Zach Wilson. But I think on the other side of this, and I know I've been saying it kind of for a while, I think Matt LaFleur is in big trouble, bro. And I think, like, if it's as bad as I think it's going to be in Green Bay this year, that he'd be done. You got to move off of him.
See, that's the thing, man. Green Bay, they're going to have to get some weapons.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to have to get some weapons. And truthfully, something I'm intrigued by, and it may not be for a lot of people, is I just want to see what Jordan Love looks like, man. I truly want to see the kid shock the world. He has been. We've seen the situation before in Green Bay. I think it's kind of a high pedestal to say he would be another Brett Favre or Aaron Rodgers, seeing how that situation played out.
Right.
And no team gets this lucky. But I think he has all the talent. We've seen him step in earlier this year. Maybe LaFleur, he makes things easy for him, and maybe he does good. But I think that team. I look at Detroit rising. I look at Minnesota continuing to be what they were. Them getting Kevin O'Connell over there and the team that they're building right now. I do look at Green Bay as being the 3rd team in that division. So whether you like it or not, but this trade right here, I just think they had their hands tied behind their back. I don't know. I just think everybody is kind of just tired of Aaron Rodgers BS, and I think they had to draw the line, man. And the Jets knew that. Kudos to the Jets. They still firm. They didn't move. They drew their line in the sand. They forced, Green Bay to cater to what they wanted, man. So shout out to them.
My last question with all this is: you get Aaron Rodgers up to New York. You got Garrett Wilson. You got weapons. You got dudes. You got Breece Hall coming back.
Yeah.
Do you have the right head coach in New York right now? Can he handle the situation? That's what we're going to find out, I think, because we've got a very inexperienced head coach who, like 2 years ago, we thought was a horrible coach, and then they kind of turned it around last year. Is he the right guy? Because if you don't have the right coach in house, this whole thing could crumble.
True. Well, if there's anything I'll say, man, he had a rough year, but they played hard for him last year.
They did.
And he's the defensive coach, and that defense was lights out. And if you plug a guy like Aaron Rodgers in there, let's be honest, the quarterback play was terrible. But, Zach Wilson said he's going to make Aaron Rodgers' job hell. Don't forget that. So, you never know. But you do have a Nathaniel Hackett coming up from Denver. You got some familiarity there. So you have some guys in house. Maybe he's able to just kind of sit back, be a defensive guy, focus on his defense, and maybe Hackett and him can just come together and kind of recreate some magic over there, man. So it's very possible, but I think it's no excuses not to win this year. You got your guy. They should take a leap. They're just in a tough division, man. I still have them behind Miami and Buffalo personally, but I can see this. It kind of reminds me of the AFC West last year where, you got a Russell Wilson. We all thought the Chargers would be who they were. We knew we had Kansas City, but then the year played out and, we didn't know what to expect. Just kind of stick to that point.
I wouldn't be surprised with Miami. I know who they just signed at running back.
Don't get me.
It was a similar.
I don't remember. I'll be honest.
They just signed a guy. We just talked about it, so that's our bad. But I do think it's not out of the realm of possibility they draft a guy as well this year.
And I think we was talking about Damian Harris. He went to Buffalo. We was talking within that division.
No, we talked like yesterday. It was over text message. When I was like, I think Miami still needs a running back, and then like a little bit later they traded for one.
No. So, I know what you're talking about. So it's rumors that Miami wants to move up for Jamar Gibbs. They're trying to get back into the first round and grab Jamar Gibbs. And if they get Jamar Gibbs over there in Miami, boy,
that's what I'm pretty much.
You got Waddle and all that going on. Like they could steal the show day one, and it may be what nobody expected. But if it's anything Miami needs, as long as Tua does what he does, man. See, I could see Miami just taking off this year, man. They can go any other way. Poor New England, man.
Right, yeah. Uncle Bill just going through it.
Yeah, but maybe if they get a Bijan, maybe they get into the conversation. But that division is going to be exciting to see.
Absolutely.
Anything else is notable? How about Jerry Jones, man, just taking a slight shot at Jason Garrett? Not Jason. Hey,
Same
he did
thing.
a Jason. Yeah, he did a Jason Garrett type shot. But I think, man, Jerry don't know what to say out his mouth, man. You know what
No.
I mean? If y'all don't know, you know what I mean, they pretty much asked him, you know what I mean, if there's anything that y'all lacking or whatever. I don't know how the question was formed, but it was like pretty much the front office not the problem, it's coaching.
Which no accountability on your part, my guy. Don't
Oh,
forget about Taco Charlton.
yeah. And you
He's been
have been
knocking
a
it out of the
GM,
park.
so yeah.
So it's like I don't know. That was kind of wild.
Lighthearted joke. I don't know how Mike took it. Mike laughed it off, but it's something that
It's embarrassing.
you don't do that, man. You don't say it. Jerry a wild boy. Maybe just in his heart, maybe he feel that way. He want to throw a little shot and laugh it off a little bit. But it's kind
And
of strange to see.
and at the same time, maybe that's the kind of things like McCarthy responds well to, is like that extra like tough love type thing.
Yeah, I will say they seem like they got a good relationship over there. So he don't look like he took it to heart for sure.
Yeah. No, that I mean,
maybe it was a shot at Kellen. Who knows?
Hey, that could have been it too. I didn't consider
Dan
that.
Quinn not the problem, so
What?
somebody. Yeah.
Dan Quinn sitting in the corner like this, like a spoiled kid, like talking about you, Mike. Sitting over there like a little child. No, I think I'm pumped about the draft this year. Steve Avila, I'll take that all day. I am really curious about if you saw a trend in this mock draft. There was a lot of offensive linemen and not nearly as many receivers as we're used to seeing.
Yeah. One spot I would look at. I would say this. You spoke of the Anthony Richardson situation. To take a quarterback there, it seems like to me that they're trying to cater into Lamar to get Lamar to stay, and I think the idea around it is to go get him some weapons. So if I'm looking at that, I don't think Zay Flowers makes it past Baltimore. You know what I mean? I think they had that choice between maybe Addison, Zay Flowers, or Quentin Johnson. And I wouldn't be surprised if they add any three to that room, just to make Lamar give him you know what I mean, something to say. Yeah, we're trying, and we're trying to get you some weapons.
Mm-hmm.
You get him an Odell. You still have I can't even think of it, Rashad Bateman over there.
Yep.
And I think I mean, it's not the best receiver room, but I think it's a start.
No, I think, to be honest, and I know I've said it before, like Lamar, he needs big weapons. Like Hollywood Brown is not the answer for Lamar. You need somebody Mark Andrews size for Lamar. Quentin Johnston's the biggest good receiver coming out. I think that's a knockout play right there. But taking Richardson there makes sense if Lamar's hands are still up in the air. Like, what are we doing here? So it's like you can't go get an ex receiver, sign OBJ, and then Lamar leaves, and then what?
Yeah, but I mean, he's asking for weapons. Like, I'm assuming behind the scenes, you see that he wanted OBJ. They was talking. He also told Baltimore to go get a DeAndre Hopkins. Obviously, it doesn't make sense from a cap standpoint. That's still in the air. I wouldn't be surprised if he's traded draft night. But obviously, he won a couple guys. I mean, if you don't get a DeAndre Hopkins, who is he compared to?
Right.
You hear Quentin Johnson when you think of DeAndre Hopkins. Maybe that's a little far fetched. They do this every draft, but you do get a big type X receiver that's something similar to that. That build. But I think Jalen Hurts did him no service. I'm taking that deal. I don't think it was a shot at Jalen, but I think it I don't think it was a shot at Lamar, but I think it was, it killed his leverage. Him coming out and pretty much saying, it's about the championships. It's not about the money. He didn't take the guaranteed deal. And then, Lamar is just sitting there, and depending on what happens to this Burrow and, the Herbert front, he could be sitting at a situation where he might just got to cave in,
Yeah.
Give him the weapons.
I think regardless if he stays in Baltimore or not, Lamar's going to have to cave in. Like, do you think that there's a chance that a team like, say, Indianapolis makes a move for Lamar on Thursday night?
No, I'm at this point. I feel like it would have happened already. I think Lamar for sure. I would say 98% is a small chance. We're not going to say nothing is impossible. He for sure is going to be in Baltimore next year. I think we have Lamar Jackson back. You hear him and Odell, they getting together. They talked about it. They wanted to be together. And then, if a team was to give that up now, maybe it would hold a team hostage. Like Baltimore still has the opportunity to sign that deal. So if you do that draft night, I don't see how that works anyway. Like, does that if you do that draft night, like Baltimore has time to sign that deal. So how would you make a first round pick or do anything? I would assume that once the draft starts, all those picks and everything that goes into that would just move on to the next year.
Yeah, I definitely misspoke on that one. They would have to work something out ahead of Thursday night, and it would be future ones. It wouldn't be this number 4 pick. That would be out of play start of Thursday night.
But
That's
why
my
not?
bad.
But my thing is, well, I'm ready to start a little bit, but you know, it gets to the point where it's like, if a CJ Stroud is there, you talked about not taking a CJ Stroud. Why not just take a CJ Stroud? He falls into your lap and then keep your first round picks. So I think it doesn't make sense for a team like that. Maybe, just maybe, it's one of these teams at the back end of the draft where that's where I would look at it. Like if I don't know how many quarterback needy teams at the end of the draft. I'm not talking about you, New York Giants, but you know, if I didn't make certain moves, I don't see why not giving up the 25th pick for Lamar Jackson. You know,
That makes a lot
and then
more
he makes your
sense.
team that much better, and then maybe next year you're talking about another pick in the 26 or 27 range. Who knows, man?
And you get yourself a faster, more athletic, more accurate Daniel Jones.
Facts.
Like, oh, that makes sense. But don't do it though. Yeah.
Yeah. But
Stay
as
off
far
of
as
it.
you know, everywhere else around the league, I just feel like it's been a slow week. You know, you hear like little rumors here and there. You know, obviously to see the Stroud, Jalen Carter, it's like it's quiet on a lot of fronts. But obviously that's just how that you know things are getting close. You know what I mean? And I'm just ready, man. I'm excited. I'm just ready to sit back, order a pizza, man. We'll talk it out during the draft. I'm just hoping that the next day, following round one, I can come in and have something I can be excited about. And
Yeah.
like we talked about before, if there's anything that I know that we do well, we draft well. You know,
Yeah.
speaking of the Dallas Cowboys, to that point, and then you know, it's a lot of teams. I'm just willing to see how that top 10 plays out. I think the top 10 would dictate everything.